I tell you what, that's paying your dues and not unpacking your bags, too. This young lady certainly has been around. We're back with Cheyney University Athletic Director Jude. And let's talk about your vision for athletics at a small Division II school.
Well, although we're small in student numbers, the vision is very big. When I started there at Cheyney in 2007, Dr. Vital wanted to make sure that we were taking care of all aspects of the department, not only graduation, fiscal management issues, making sure that we're staying in NCAA compliance. That was one of the challenges that we had when I first walked into the door of Cheyney. We were on a 3-year probationary period. And fortunately, we've submitted our final report to the NCAA, which is officially due April 1. And once we get off of that, it will be June of this year. And we're pretty much free and clear and meeting our institutional controls there at the institution. So fundraising is big. We're really fortunate to have a wonderful athletic booster club called the C Club. We have great support from the Cheyney Foundation, headed by our foundation chair, David Austin, and all of the alumni who really wants to make a significant difference. And I definitely can't leave out the National Alumni Association, who's also a part of that, keeping the Cheyney name alive.
How do you sell Cheyney?
How do we sell Cheyney? Well, typically we always start out being the first HBCU in America. We're really fortunate for that. But being the first is not always saying that we're the best. So what we're trying to do is we're putting some systems in place to say we are good in a lot of things. We're good in our communications department. We're getting very, very strong in our math and science departments. It's one of those things that we're taking some time and getting those systems in place for our athletics department to be strong. We wind up just getting about 8 who's who among colleges and universities, and about 30% of our student athletes have a 3.0 or better in our GPA. And of course, we're known for our men's and women's basketball. We're the home of John Cheyney and C. Vivian Stringers, so they really do help us.
Both Hall of Famers.
Both Hall of Famers and big supporters. And I talk to Coach Cheyney at least once a week.
Here's a tough question for you. Well, it may not be that tough, but how do you keep Vivian Stringer and John Cheyney working at Cheyney? I mean, they're gone now, but yes. I mean, that caliber of coach.
In terms of them specifically at Cheyney University?
Yeah, well, so, I mean, they were there. So
yes, they were there.
How do you keep them there?
Well, we keep them there because they believe in the institution. We're really fortunate to have a golf tournament last year where both Coach Cheyney and Coach Stringer served as our honorary chairs, and that was huge. And that was the time, of course, when Coach Stringer was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that really made a significant difference in selling it. With Cheyney University being their first collegiate opportunity, there's a sense of loyalty in their hearts, and they really are going to do everything in their power to utilize their notoriety to really sell the Cheyney name. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
People think, you said easy, but let's flip that around. People think it's easy to be a major athletic director at a major, because see, even though you're Division II, you're still, it's still a major job you have to do. What do you have to know to be an athletic director? I know you named a lot of categories, the compliance and all of that, but you don't just throw the balls out. People think you're throwing the balls and the tennis rackets out there. You just throw the, and then you say, what do you need? Uniforms? Okay, we'll order that. It's not like that anymore.
No.
It probably used to be like that, probably maybe 50 or 60 years ago, but today you almost have to be a corporate exec to be an athletic director and be under somebody's tutelage before you can take over like that.
I definitely agree with you on that. One of the things that I'm very fortunate to have is had the opportunity to work under some athletic directors who are pretty strong. Ron Fang Mitchell from Coppin State University, he served as a basketball coach as well as an athletic director, and I played a big part in the administration, as well as some other universities that really helped strengthen me. But really, for the most part, I do consider myself to be a businesswoman. It's interesting when I do explain to people I am an athletic director, they think I am a physical education teacher.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Which is nothing wrong with that. I think that our educational system definitely need more physical education teachers, especially with what's going on with child obesity and things like that. But we are business people, so we definitely need to know budget. We do need to know compliance, marketing and promotions, selling the brand of a university. And so you have to wear many hats. And I think it's kind of interesting being just one of very few athletic directors in the country. At times
that are women.
That are women.
Right.
I'm sorry, that are women. It's a bit of advantage. Sometimes I have to kind of stroke a little bit just to get someone to warm up a little bit. But really, for the most part, once we start cutting deals, once we start making things happen, I am a businesswoman, and I think that everyone needs to understand that we can sit at the board table with any of the big boys to make it work too, regardless of the number of students.
I am sure
in the
that Debbie Yao has run into that at the University of Maryland, and when they all is it kind of a chauvinistic kind of business? Don't step on any toes, but I mean, you know.
I can say from time to time, I've been in some situations where there have been some remarks that I would say it's borderline, you know, chauvinistic, and you know, we try to do everything, and all of the 13 black female athletic directors, those who know each other, we get together at conventions and we share our
Well, how do you get
ideas
their
and
respect if that's even an issue?
Show your work.
There you go.
You show your work. You make sure you dot your I's and you cross your T's, and you know, that firm handshake. It needs to demonstrate that you are a business person first, and a female second. So money is green. That's why I'm wearing green now. Money is green, and that's what we talk about, and graduating those student athletes and making a good name for our university and making our president look good too.
Right. Yeah. How do you work within the guidelines of the NC2A? The NC2A says you can play with one kind of an average. The school, like I went to Howard University, which was really hardcore, but sometimes. I mean, even Harvard goes by the NC2A.
That's true.
But HU kind of goes with their own thing. You have to have a certain GPA to even get on the field.
Right.
I mean, you can't even practice in the spring with less than a 2 when you're not even playing. I don't like that myself, but I mean, what I'm saying is that if you're going to be able to compete, you got to give kids an opportunity that are a little slower maybe, and you know, some of your outstanding CEOs weren't all that great in college, but I mean, if they can just, we're not talking about spout out mediocrity.
Right.
I'm saying, you know, if you're 1.8, 1.9, and you're right there, which the NC2A says you can play with, you know, how do you work that?
Well, you have to keep in mind the NCAA, prior to the passing of Dr. Miles Brand, who's the president there have been a lot of concerns in regards to academic performance, and that is the reason why the APR was put out. The APR is the academic performance rate, and that was for Division I. And this is to make sure that universities were utilizing student athletes for their student status first and their athletic status second. And retention and graduation rates was a #1 priority. So I think it's really important for everyone to understand that institutions put policies and expectations in place to protect the student as well as protect the good names. Howard University is a phenomenal institution. And of course, they're known for their doctors and engineers and things like that, and maybe not always at the upper echelon of athletics, but they have the opportunity to play, and they really should be very fortunate to play. But no institution should be superseding any NCAA expectations, but it is the athletic director as well as the president's responsibility to see how there can be a win-win to make sure that you give those student athletes the opportunity to play as well as maintain their grade point average. There are over 3,000 institutions in America, so they can pick one that fits their billet.
Well, one of the top high school football coaches in the country is a Cheyney graduate, Craig Jeffries at Dunbar High School here in D.C. I'll throw that out there, you know. Lines are open for your calls with China Jude at 703-387-1020. Check out what's coming up on the Sports Talk schedule. Got a little frog in my throat. Work with me. It's a chance to see Cheyney University Wolves or the Howard Bison or the Georgetown Hoyas. The Penn Relays in Philly. It's coming up next month at the University of Pennsylvania. It's a carnival of skill and speed from world-class athletes from around the country. If you want to see the ultimate in athletic performance, go to Philly. Check it out. It's big.